Hello? I heard it.
Hello.
What do we got?
You got your boy, Joshua Cooper J.
Oh, okay. I got my dog too. I was going to put that dog down yesterday, but I said, I'll keep her around for another day or two. But this is incomprehensible. Artie, how was your weekend?
Hey, what's happening? It was
What's
good,
up
man.
there? It was
How's
good,
your
huh?
weekend?
What happened with your film? I told you I bring good luck, didn't I tell you?
You did. You're the one who said that I should submit it to things too.
What happened? We won an award. Is that true?
Yeah, we got the Silver Comedy Award.
Silver Comedy Award. That's
Yeah.
it. What happened to the Gold Comedy Award?
I think it was somebody from France, maybe that one.
France.
They didn't like you over there.
Yeah. What's up, Anna? You look beautiful as usual.
Thank
You look at Anna. You look at Anna and you say, okay, she's beautiful. But you know what? She can act. She can sing. She could dance like a mofo. It's amazing. She is multi-talented. Am I right, Joshua, on this or not?
Yeah, I would say you nailed that on the head, Mr. Aardvark.
Thank you.
You would also know how good her breath smells.
Yes, it's very true.
It does smell nice.
Right.
It does smell nice.
The best smelling breath I've ever smelled, honestly.
Yeah. Where's Jeremy, Anna? Where's Jeremy?
I don't know.
Looks like I'm backstage here.
No,
you're the man of the hour.
Did
there
you
we
get
go.
He got a haircut for the show.
I did. Just literally just came from the barber right now.
He got his hair
Classic
and
Los
makeup.
Angeles.
That's
He
it.
got his hair and makeup people to do a do on him.
Yeah. I just had my Botox too, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, Jeremy's in LA. Okay.
Hello.
So, Jeremy, could you change to 720p in your restream settings?
Oh yeah, I see an invite to do that here. Okay, just a second.
Right. And we got Artie. Artie's doing just to finish the horror film too. Tonight, I'd like to welcome everyone to Andrew Aardvark's Aardvark Interviews. And tonight is our special horror show.
Ooh.
And
I'm already scared.
Thank you, Anna. But all of the people on this show tonight are bona fide, and I say bona fide, horror people in the horror business, working in the horror industry, professionals, just about. All right. Did you change those settings, Jeremy?
It looks like I did. Is everything looking kosher?
All right. The producer will tell us if you're not kosher. Says no. Says you're not kosher, baby. You're not kosher.
But, says I'm at 720. All right, hang on a second. Let's try something else.
Now, Anna, you could sing a little too, huh?
Right now, in general, yes.
What kind of songs do you like to sing, Anna?
Oh, anything. I studied classical music in college, but nowadays I sing rock, jazz, and chill pop.
Chill pop?
Yeah, what's an example? Kina Grannis, Alessia Cara, is that how you say her name? Lana Del Rey, kind of chill pop vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to put your social media contacts in your signature, if you like. So, all we're about here is, having fun and promoting shit. So, but let's talk about horror. Jeremy, are you at 720p's?
I think I got the okay here from
the producer.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you. Have you ever used a midget in any of your horror films?
No, I hadn't really thought about that though.
Okay, and you can't say that word anymore, right, Anna?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What's the word? What's the
Little
word?
people.
Thank you. A little person.
Yeah.
Now, Jeremy, are you working on something new from the monstrous success of Year of the Dog? What was it? Year of the, what was the name?
Year of the Dog. Yeah. That's
Okay, very good. Just a brief introduction. I met Jeremy at the Jim Thorpe Film Festival. We were both invited to attend. Jeremy more so than myself, and also Joshua was there as a director as well. I was just a shitty little actor, but what can you do? So Joshua and Jeremy are like writers, producers, not really actors, but
Jeremy's got that one scene.
yeah, it was.
I would
It was.
classify Jeremy as an actor.
It scared me as an actor.
Also saying how attracted you were to Jeremy the second you saw him on the bus.
No, you know what's funny? Let's talk about East Coast, West Coast. All right. Now, check this out, Audie. Jeremy's on the bus. We don't know he's on the bus. We all took a bus there because we're making so much fucking millions in this showbiz career. So we get off the bus and we start talking about the festival, the Jim Thorpe Film Festival, which is a gold film festival. We're not monkeying around here. So Jeremy looks at me and Joshua and says, "Oh, can I have your phone number? To contact each other while the festival's going on." So Joshua's like, yeah, maybe some other time and shit, being from New York City. But I said, "Yes, Jeremy, here's my phone number." Right?
That did happen. Yeah. I don't know if the first thing I said to you was, "Can I have your phone number?"
Right. It was right after you said, "Can I blow you?" Right. Okay. I forgot that. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Clear that up. Right.
All right. But did you ever get Josh's number?
I think so. Josh and I have communicated. Josh actually passed along some really good and disturbing films, which I enjoyed thoroughly.
I know. Still have to hit you with a round 2 of those.
Yeah, Bad Boy Bubby was a life changer. Yeah. So yes, we're connected.
All right. Connected or not, what got you into horror in the first friggin' place, Jeremy? What got you in on the road to horror stardom?
Well, I'd done several, projects, several short films, all sorts of stuff, and I was just really into like a hyper visual style. So I wouldn't say that I was like a horror freak growing up. There were certain films, certainly, but I saw the possibility of style and like what you can do in a horror universe visually, and that's kind of what drew me into the genre more than anything else. Because I like obscene color combinations and obscene frames, and also I like dreadful things and facing darkness, and it just fits, I guess.
What do you think about the situation? Artie is a special co-host, but he also has a film out there, a horror film. It's like a cabin in the woods or something.
Ooh.
What's it called? Massacre.
Day Trip Massacre.
Day Trip Massacre.
Now,
it's like Scary Movie would be the I would say what the closest thing to it. It's a slasher set in the 70s, but there's some slapstick in there. It's a comedy.
Okay, so it's like a parody.
It doesn't. I guess it's like parodying the genre itself. It's like
Right.
late 70s movies from everyone goes into the woods and gets attacked by the guy in the beginning that they tell the story about.
I have to see this.
Is it campy?
It's about camping.
Right. Right. So it's camping, yet maybe not campy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jeremy, do you think there's any place in horror for a couple of jokes?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's always place for humor, but I use humor maybe in the sense like of things that diffuse tension. So that's a whole scale of things, to outright slapstick, to anything that just gives somebody a break from total nihilistic actual horror or dread. But yeah, I love it. I love seeing comedy.
Now,
I
I've
will
seen-
say,
Go ahead,
Oh,
please.
add one thing there. I will say, I do like sometimes when there are filmmakers who go for like an approach where they won't let you out of that sort of grasp of dread. You know, I think of like some of Ari Aster's stuff lately, and there's
Ari
a
Aster.
different effect there. Yeah.
It's Joshua's favorite director. But let me ask you, Joshua, do you think comedy has any place in horror movies?
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna.
you don't put much comedy in your horror, is it
I
true?
usually have you say one or two. See, that's the thing. The humor for me, I think, comes from the over the top nature. I want it to have the person who's watching feel so uncomfortable or taken by such surprise that they smile. I don't put in jokes per se.
Now, Anna was in this next film, the second part of this trilogy. If Papa Cherry survives that long, what's the name of this movie again, Joshua?
Even monsters sleep.
Even Monsters Sleep. When is that going to be released?
Oof. Hoping end of this year. But we'll see. We got the footage on lock, and now we just hitting the town on the sound.
Okay, because the first film, Nameless World, went to 5 film festivals. Is that correct?
Yes, and I got bigger hopes for this one.
Wow. Why do you have bigger hopes for this one? Because Anna Mayo, of course.
She is definitely a showstopper.
Right. And who picked her to be in this movie?
Casting agent Andrew Aardvark.
There you go. Thank you.
But I would like to touch on what Jeremy was saying in terms of the visuals, and I have to say his movie Year of the Dog, the scene where you were in Chinatown with those lights, still very vivid in my head.
Very
as
cool
just
scene.
a beautiful, just like tense scene. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
that shit was hot.
And there were actual fireworks used.
Well, yeah. I mean, the basic idea we had was that because we had very little budget, and we
And
wanted
no
high
permits,
production,
if I remember.
we stole everything. So the whole plan was let's write a story where we can go to Chinese New Year in the middle of Los Angeles. And even though you're normally not supposed to shoot there, if we go shoot during Chinese New Year, everyone has a camera. So if we run around with actors and a camera and I have a plan for what's going to happen, we'll just shoot it wild. And it worked out so well. Like nobody looked at our camera because everybody was holding a camera. So it looks like we had hundreds of extras, but it was really just absolute chaos shooting all of that. Although we did do a lot of camera tests and stuff before the fact, so we knew exactly how it was going to look. We just had no idea how the crowd was going to react. And, it was fun.
Is there any place to find this Year of the Dog on Hulu or any place? Or
I'll drop a link in right now.
Drop a link in for. I'm sure there are many fans out there who would love to see this movie, Year of the Dog, and they kind of used real fireworks. So, and they ran from the police like me and Artie did in the comedy movie that's doing so sensationally well. And I mean that seriously. It is not easy making a movie. You guys know, Jeremy, you know that, Joshua, you know that. Artie put this movie together in 24 hours. How many hours was it, Artie?
I think I wrote it in a day, and then we filmed it in a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like the it was you had 3 days to do it for it was a competition, and then the good part about it was they gave you time to edit, because that took me forever. But like a couple of weeks. But at least it wasn't like and one more day to edit, because it would not have come out good.
Okay, is that going to be the last film festival? This one in India?
Yeah, I think so. I want to put it online.
Okay, are they going to pay us this money in rupees?
Yes.
From the award.
You're going to get like 6 rupees.
Okay, good. That's about a quarter of a cent or something. Yeah. Anna, what are you doing now? Anna, if you had your choice, would you rather be an actor? If God came down and said, you can only pick one of these things, stop with all the variety in your life.
Okay.
If you could only pick one the acting, the singing. You're directing something now, an ad or something, or
Yes.
what else? You also bowl, right?
No, very badly. I'm
Right.
just starting off with the bowling, but it's you know me and my variety. I just got to try it.
Right, but
But if I had to pick one, like between acting, music, dancing, writing, whatever, it's really hard. So I had to pick right now.
that's the purpose of the show, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
ask questions and people. Yeah.
I'll say acting then. Yeah, I'll pick
Wow.
acting.
Wow. That's the last thing I thought you would have picked, but because you,
What did you think I was gonna
Sorry.
pick?
huh?
I was just curious, Anna. You said you went to school for classical.
Yes.
What kind of music, or what in classical would you study?
Classical voice.
Okay,
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah.
I-
So I stay. Sorry. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I had the same background. I studied classical guitar before I got into any of this stuff.
Oh,
So there's the
wow.
Oh,
music
no
background.
way.
Yeah.
That really helps, honestly. The musical background. It helps. I don't know. It helps with the storytelling. There's a storytelling element to making music, and music obviously very much helps storytelling in film. So it all comes together.
Okay. Anna, I'm a maven in the horror film business. Were you afraid of working with someone like myself?
Yes, I was very much so. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sorry. Anna sang a song for this upcoming movie, this
Yeah,
new Papa Chair. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Andrew, you could or Anna could find a writer who hires her for acting and songwriting, such as this new film that you were starting to discuss.
Right.
So she
When
doesn't have to choose.
when I picked Anna for this role, I said to Josh, Josh, she could sing too. So
Yeah, and I didn't think she would do the film, but
boy,
thank
that was
God.
some song. Shit.
That song is leaves me speechless.
It's unbelievable. I'm glad I taped the friggin' thing. Yeah. So so I'm gonna pirate that shit. All right.
Joshua co-wrote it. I can't take all the credit. Joshua and I sat in the studio at what was it, Ripley Greer for like an hour or two. Maybe it was just an hour. I don't remember. And
What
we
was the
wrote it
name?
together.
What's the name of the song?
In the Shadows.
In the shadows.
Was there a harmonica or some shit or a harpsichord or something involved? What was it?
Cello,
Cello.
played by Cremane Booker.
Hooker?
Booker with a B, otherwise known as
Sorry.
that cello guy. He is
Yeah.
world class, truly.
Yeah.
He completely changed the song. It was unbelievable.
Josh,
I
did you
saw it.
have that like in the script, or was it when you guys cast Anna that you were like, oh, she can sing, this would be cool to add this to
So
it?
I had an idea for a song, and that was just kind of like a feint. Like I wanted a song that fit the film because there's this whole audition scene where she auditions for Papa Cherry, and it just so happens that Anna is incredibly talented songwriter, had some old songs that we kind of worked with as a foundation, and we actually ended up just taking that idea of, oh, I want a song for the film. There's room for a song in the film if you want to sing, and just created the most haunting, beautiful song that tied the film together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see this movie, man. If it's like anything like the first one.
Yeah, this one's pretty wild.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
like more wild.
Yeah, I would say better in every single way. It really, first of all, I mean, Anna and Andrew just are two acting powerhouses, and they just go back and forth in a lot of improv also, which was fucking awesome. But yeah, it's a similar style. It's technically the second installment in the Papa Cherry series, which you have seen the first. But yeah, this one is a little has a little more clear, linear plot to it, but still has a good amount of mind fuckery as well.
All right,
Does
that's
this
what I was hoping for.
does this tie into the first movie at all?
Papa Cherry. I think when I started writing this film, it was more of like another case of an actress or a woman that was assaulted by Papa Cherry, and the guilt and the remorse and the revenge that comes with it. But I think this one is much more built out because you really get to know both characters. It's not really just Papa Cherry being an evil son of a bitch, but you really see the damage that he imposes on just a beautiful actress.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a pot of gold at the ends of the rainbow, or are we just spinning our wheels here? Is there a friggin' payoff?
Who is that directed to?
It's a group direction.
To me personally, the payoff is just seeing how incredible the film turned out. I mean, I would love it to blow up and I can quit my day job and get money to direct another film. But the pot of gold for me is getting a fire group of collaborators and just shitting out something beautiful.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like the last line there.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if you're not thinking about filmmaking in terms of like, mountain climbing, looking at each step of the way as being essential to the the long term, then it's probably the wrong frame of mind. Like, what's this short gonna do, or what's this film gonna do? What's this project gonna do? It's like it's incremental, but you keep plugging away. I mean, I know a lot of the filmmakers and directors that I really respect. If yes, there are people who just make one project and it's a breakout thing, but more often than not, it's somebody who slugged away film after film, and things gradually just sort of took shape. So hopefully we're all doing it because we love it, and I know that's the case with you guys. Yeah, so that's the pot of gold, bro.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this pot of gold. Let's just talk about pot first of all. But all right, the question is, what's the future of horror? I get some of the finest horror people in this computer here right now. What's the future? Is it shorter films? Is it longer films? Is it, feature length? Are there going to be more dead bodies? Is it going to be more grisly or gory? What's going to happen? Or is it going to be more cerebral? What do you think, Jeremy? Let's start out with you here.
As far as length of the films, I don't know. I don't think features are dying. So, certainly the way people, ingest film is changing. As we're seeing people support from theaters into just streaming. But as far as like where I see horror headed, horror is oftentimes like a reflection of the times. So,
very good. Very good.
So I think, granted, people don't want to see a lot of COVID related stuff right now, but I think a lot of what's going on now in society and around the world is going to have repercussions. It's going to ripple out.
Mhm.
And the things that this generation of people are afraid of are much different than, swamp monsters and, things that might have been scary at different times. So I think maybe,
Right.
yeah, psychological. Yeah, that's a good start.
What do you think, Anna?
I was going to say something similar. I think more psychological horror, more cerebral horror. And very much like what Jeremy said, the things that scare us now are different than what scared us back in the day. We see horrible things all the time on the news, so it's and we've gotten like kind of, I don't want to say numb to it, but we've gotten a little bit numb to it. So the things that jump out at you or used to jump out at you don't jump out at you anymore. I feel like it's the subtle, like insidious horror that really like messes with your subconscious is going to be what really lands.
What do you think, Artie? Do you think maybe the future of comedy might be throwing a few friggin' jokes in there?
Comedy's dead, man.
I mean, the future horror is.
I think
comedy's dead.
I think it's exciting to see that a horror has gotten on a much bigger scale now, where you see celebrities and A-list people like jumping on board on horror movies, which I think it expanded it to now. It's not pigeonholed where years ago it'd be like you only saw ghost movies and then you only saw slashers, where now it's people want to work in it. I don't know if it's that people now have grown up like loving it, or if it's just because there's more money being put behind it. But I like to see that
there's a lot of devoted horror fans. And let me ask you, you told me already that you went to Tribeca Film Festival, correct?
Yeah.
And you saw comedy movies and you saw horror movies. What was your experience with those genres?
The horror movies were always much better films.
Interesting.
I told you I used to go and I'd try to see one of each, or like a shorts block, and then it just turned into I mean, I always, no matter what, look for the horror movie. That's what even though I do comedy stuff, horror is my favorite genre. But it just turned out like their movies aren't that funny. I don't know if it's like the level that they're on, but the indie horror, I think people find a way in indie horror to scare you or to do the psychological thing, because they don't have the money to do things that might want to be boring without the money, because you can just do some CGI or get a prop made. Instead, you have to be inventive, and that actually winds up making the movie better in the long run.
What do you think, Josh?
I got a lot of thoughts on this topic. I would say in terms of, I guess, indie horror, I agree with that. I also think one thing that draws me to horror and indie horror is that darkness, and that darkness just is, to me, infinite. I think in comedy, like, you could do dick jokes, sex jokes, classic dating, romance. Like, there's just so many just simple, like, done before plot lines. And I think horror, there's always like a shadow over it where you can twist and turn it in an infinite amount of ways. Also touching on just horror being like a reflection of the times. That is totally what I think, but the problem for me is like some of these news articles are scarier than the movie I go out to see. So I really like read that scary news article and I'm like, all right, if this is real life and people living on the ground, like how fucking terrifying is that? And try to make a story around that so it's relevant as it can be. But I think that a lot of horror these days take those relevant topics and don't take that, either like dive in deep enough to that human aspect to really make it cerebral and like make it penetrate your psyche. So I think these days horror to me is a little soft. I'm still chasing like Asian horror overseas, and I've been rewatching a lot of shit.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what? I watched a whole bunch just to get in the mood. You see, of horror films, really short horror films on YouTube yesterday.
Okay? Did they scare you?
Yeah, some of them were pretty good, and they were like 7 minutes long. And I was like, some of them were shit. All right, they were POS, but some of them were pretty friggin' good. I thought the quality was pretty. I even sent you a few, Joshua. I know you
saw like
probably hate them all.
Emails come in. I was like, "What is this man doing to my inbox right now?" It was like, "Call me daddy."
All right, call me daddy. That's a different topic and a different show.
That was a different email. I didn't open any of them.
Call me daddy was pretty interesting. It was pretty frightening. And the Smiling Man was pretty good too. I should get something for these plugs. All right, Jeremy, what's your next project, man?
Well, I'm working at doing a feature at this
Oh.
point. I got some people together, and I'm on the second draft of a script for something I'm hoping to be shooting later this year.
Nice.
Things
What's
were.
the
Oh, go ahead.
logline? Plot summary?
It's a story about a punk rock girl who goes on a series of quests for a fallen angel to save her mother from a cancer diagnosis. So a lighthearted family film.
Wow.
Uh,
this was-
yeah.
Shit, though.
This would be more cerebral then, right?
Well, there's a very real, demon, creature that she interacts with. So you could say maybe like a creature feature kind of thing. Yeah, I like the idea of tethering something that has a parallel of like an outward manifestation of evil and fear that's tethered to a psychological undercurrent of a relationship. So like in this case, it's the girl in a relationship with her mom, which is not very good. And there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of baggage between the two of them. And then when her mom gets sick, that just exacerbates everything. And everything that happens with this demon and this, basically it's like a fairy tale aspect that the demon sends her on these sort of quest. And it's like, yeah, we can help your mom, but you essentially have to face fear. Those things parallel each other, the external and the sort of internal journey. Like I think of movies like The Babadook, where it's, if you guys have seen that, where it's like a story about this monster, but it's grounded in this, mother and son story. I like movies like that where it's kind of layered.
What kind
Go
of
ahead.
off topic? I mean, I think that plot sounds fucking awesome. Can't wait to see it. In terms of, did you? I know you're pretty well established already, but did you like leverage the Year of the Dog to try to get set up in order to make a feature, or were there those totally separate?
I have a little bit. I mean, it sort of happened organically, kind of like I was talking about earlier. I found a lot of people that came to see Year of the Dog, and some people who were on board. They saw the movie and immediately they approached me and said, "Hey, we should work together in some sort of sense."
Cool.
And with a couple producers and a production designer that I'm working with, and it opened a lot of doors for sure.
Do you think these film festivals are the only route to go these days?
No, not at all. I mean, it depends what you're after, but let's say that like you're talking about getting a feature made and trying to sell it, and maybe make a profit. I know a lot of people who make films and then deal with distributors and finding a home for their film, and they're more worried about their market. And the festivals to them are an afterthought if they go to them at all. But I think the best way would probably be approaching it from both angles, because you never know who you're going to meet at a festival.
Artie, did you want to say something, bro?
Oh, I was going to ask you. You said you were working with a production designer, somebody that you met. So when you write, I watched the trailer for Year of the Dog, and it looked awesome. And
thank you.
We already touched on that. You stole the shots and everything. I was like blown away by that when it moved in on her, and I was like this scene looks like it cost a ton of money, and the color of it all, I also loved. Do you write with like a color palette in mind, or was that you write the story and then you're like, and especially in that case because you said you just went there and stole it, or you like, do you find it out by the location?
It had to be like based off of what available, but for sure there's color palette in mind. I mean, I actually I color my own films, and like after doing the music thing, I got into art school. Like I did the art for a while, and so I have a bit of a background as a painter. So I think a lot in terms of color, because I think it's the quickest way to, other than music, those are the two things, music and color, that can immediately manipulate or dictate somebody's emotional state, whether or not they realize it.
Very
right.
nice.
Let me ask a question here. Let's change the tenor of this conversation. And talking about tenors, you'd have to talk to Anna. But the question, what are the ramifications or the emotions that an actor goes through, especially in a horror film? I know the horror film we did was very, very difficult for you and for me, possibly, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. But emotionally, did you feel like some shit going through this?
100%. That was one of the most exhausting shoots. The one day that we shot, was it like 7 hours? And we got like a majority of the film done in that 7 hours. And there's a lot of scenes shot in one location. And I guess it's just kind of like my character's home base. So we see my character go from feeling safe, feeling joyful, and whoa, the grid shifted. That was cool. Feeling safe, feeling joyful, feeling celebratory. One of my best friends, Alexandra Murilli, played my roommate in those scenes, and we have a very like strong, fun chemistry in real life. So we just had a blast doing that, and then like immediately afterwards had to flip the switch to the aftermath of the horror that my character goes through, and that definitely put me through it.
Let me ask you, do you draw on any of your personal experiences when this role or these feelings come up?
For this particular role, or
you
in
did an
general?
amazing job. I just want to say this first of all. And after I chose you for the role, I said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy she's in this movie." You gave 110%, and I want to thank you for being in this film and just your personal experiences, because I went through some things as the evil person, trying to shake it off, and thinking conscious wise, am I partly that evil person? Are you the victim? Are you the Oh, sorry, that's for the script.
Spoiler. Yeah, for this particular project, I did draw on personal experience. I felt like I had to, not because I was asked. Nobody asked me to do that. I just felt like this story meant a lot to me, and because of the personal experiences I had, and I kind of used it as a release, but I also wanted to give this story and this character justice. So yeah, I drew from personal experience, and I don't regret any of it. It was really hard. It was really hard, but it was so worth it, I think.
Do you actually prepare in any way?
I do. For in general, or for this particular
No, for this particular project.
For this particular project, I did, yes. It's kind of like woo-woo. I don't want to like get too into it, but I definitely go into like a kind of like a no space kind of trance. And I do kind of I like have a certain movement series that I do on my own at home. And I kind of meditate a little bit. Before we shoot, I always have to think very strongly about the moment right before the scene that we're shooting. So that whenever Josh says action, I come right onto the scene with something loaded. And that way it doesn't take a while to like get into it as the scene is going on.
Oh, what do you think, guys? What do you think about what Anna just said?
I would also touch on it because I obviously worked with Anna through the whole film, and I feel like we worked very well together, but it was also because I really wanted this role to be personal, and I think I expressed that to Anna, and she actually built out the character Delilah Anderson way more than I ever could have or did in the script. And she really built out this whole person. And I think whether or not she pulled from personal experiences or not, is she really embodied this character and thought like her, created a background and all this shit that never even comes into the movie, wasn't even part of the story, but she really not only took the time on acting to like get into that mental psyche of Delilah, but she knew Delilah. She was Delilah. She was able to tap into Delilah when we did improv scenes. And even there were scenes when I said cut and we were stopped shooting and Anna was still bawling her eyes out. And those scenes made it into the film. And it was real, raw emotion. And I think that's one extremely talented and just like super unique and gifted way to do it. But I think that was also just super cool.
Oh, I've forgotten all of that. I feel like that was like the story, the like background work on Delilah that I did was like last January before COVID. And I remember doing that and I completely forgot. Thank you for bringing that up. So much has happened since then.
Time to throw up. All right.
Yeah,
So-
right. I will never eat split pea soup again. I swear to
Yeah.
you. I stocked up on a lot of soup during the pandemic. And I ate, after that one shoot, I ate all of my soups, but I still have split pea soup in my pantry. I can't eat it anymore. Does anybody want some? I'm trying to get rid of it.
I had that blood in my mouth, the fake blood in my mouth, and Josh was like, "I think that might be toxic or poisonous, Andrew. I'm not really sure." And I'm like,
now you say something.
I'm like, screw it, man. I hope I don't swallow. Say that enough times. All right, Jeremy, what do you think about Audie's beard?
I think it's a terrific full beard. It's a A+ beard.
Oh,
I
thank you.
personally don't have a beard because it grows in like a little splotchier than that. So
I do have a real question for Jeremy.
Go ahead.
Going off this acting shit. You did act in the movie that you wrote, directed, colored, etc. How did you handle that? How did you build that character? Anything on that?
Well, the character was supposed to be kind of skeezy, kind of like, you know, it was like he's picking up on this girl across the street, and I was an actor before getting into any of this other stuff, writing and directing and producing. At first, I thought I'm going to act and that's it. So I know from all the auditions that I've had, I play that guy well, which is actually why I did it. I would have cast somebody else to be in it, but it was like, okay, it's one scene. I need some guy to just walk up and kind of Fonzie the whole thing. And I was like, I can probably do that better than somebody I'd be able to cast, and it'll be one less person on the shoot. So
Word.
that's why I did it.
What do you think, Audie?
I think that's awesome. I mean, I'm the same thing. I'm from like improv acting. That's where it just bled into doing sketch, which bled into doing short films.
Artie is a sketch actor extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you. So it may be the same path minus the art school painting.
Do you do like improv?
Yeah, I used to do it a lot more. Now I kind of prefer to do things that are more of like that have like a shell where you can just improvise inside of them.
Right.
So you know, I mean, it's kind of I guess how you were just talking about with Andrew and Anna, like when you can improvise in character, it's a lot different because it's like you're coming up with a line or a button or something rather than like, hey, let's just talk here for 5 minutes.
Do you think this
sometimes
is
you see that on stage, it's great. Sometimes it's terrible.
Right. Do you think this is the inherent reason why improvisation is so bad?
I think it's better. It's when you have the background, when you know who the character is, you know where you are, what you're in a scene, you can react to that rather than like I have to build the entire thing And I think that's why sometimes it is bad, because that's difficult. You're writing everything in a matter of 30 seconds, and then like, all right, let me in this.
Larry David uses that in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and many directors use that way now, rather than formal scripts with, no, that isn't the word, to letting the actor mold it in a certain way when he forgets his lines. So, all right.
I think that comes more real, because you get to say it the way you want to say it.
We got a question here. Is improvisation the lazy man's acting? Artie, what do you think?
No, kind of what I just said. I think that it's actually a way to take the words and you make it more realistic. Because you're living it and you're reacting to the real thing.
Right.
What about I'm talking about on film, not.
What about improvisation itself?
Like improv itself?
Yeah.
It's a whole different art form. That's what I'll say.
You think it sucks, right?
No, I think it can be great, but I think it has a better chance of not being great because it's not something that is worked on and written and rehearsed. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a 50-50 of it, whether it's going to be good or bad. Or if it's written, hopefully it's going to be good.
But you can understand the question, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like doing the work of remembering the lines, you just make up your own shit on the fly. Well, Jeremy, Jeremy, do you let your actors stray from the script?
No, I'm a control freak with the script.
I knew it. This is true. Go ahead.
Yeah, but as far as the way that they approach the script, I feel like that's more their territory. So, hearing from Mana about like your approach to the character and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's where I kind of see the playground, And this is something I was actually thinking while you were talking about it, so I'm glad it came up. But one of the best pieces of advice I heard, and I don't remember which director it was, but you show up on set. The actor has something prepared. The worst thing you can do sometimes before you shoot a scene is to tell them exactly what you want them to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just keep your fucking mouth shut and then you say, just go for it. And then they're going to bring something to it that you would have never dreamed of. Right. But as far as with the script, that's tougher because it's like, well, how quickly can you kind of like get off track with the script or the story with just the changing of a few lines,
right?
It's probably easier in comedy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything's easier in comedy till you're not funny. All right, what do you do if you find an actor is completely wrong for the part once you begun filming, Jeremy?
Replace them. If you can.
Well, he said that so coldly.
I know. Like, whoa.
Well, no, I thought in my head, should I just say something warm and fuzzy? Okay, well, here, you assess the situation, right? Like if we're shooting this thing today and we have to shoot this, but if you, I don't know if I'd get into that or if I have gotten into that situation, because that's why you put your effort into casting, right? But let's say that they're wrong.
It can happen.
Yeah. Well, then sometimes, let's say you're going to shoot with them, and that's that, and they're cast, and then I think what you need to do is find a different way to approach that actor. Like, okay, maybe this person could still be right, but the way that we're approaching this scene isn't working. Maybe they need more direction, or maybe they need to feel more relaxed, or maybe they need to feel a little bit of like fear in the situation.
Right. So you waste valuable time teaching them how to act. This makes no friggin' sense, Jeremy.
Well, no. What you do is you explore psychology, because I mean that to me is the biggest element of directing and working with actors anyway. It's psychology. And sometimes actors show up and they just bring exactly what you need or far beyond what you expected, and so your role is not very involved. But other times, you have to get creative and on the spot, and it's on you as the filmmaker to figure out how to make it work.
All right, Joshua, the same question for you because you've hired many people, and before I came along and steered you in the right direction, you might have had some bumps along the road. How would
Yeah,
you answer that question?
sure did. So the way I sourced my actors previously to Andrew Aardvark was completely anonymous online. And I did meet some folks that probably weren't the right fit for my film. However, similar to Andrew or Jeremy's approach is no one is completely shit. There's something that you can find with them that
I love
could
that
fit.
quote.
I could probably disprove that, but yeah.
I mean, but even like
I'm
on
writing that down. I'm writing that down.
on the claws set, we had a female who really was not meshing with the group, didn't do much, but she had the creepiest laugh
She's
I've
got a great
ever
laugh.
heard, and
Great laugh.
she was that laugh. I still have the recording. So there is, I do believe you can
Yeah.
always find some redeeming quality.
All right, good.
Somewhere.
All right, this is the final question before we get to the three questions, which are very telling about a person's personality and, as Jeremy would say, their psychology. There are a lot of amateur writers attempting to get in the industry now more than ever. Does this bother you? Could they be successful?
First of all, Shard of the Beast, man. If you're a writer, I think you should stick with it because that is an epic name.
Yeah.
What do you
No
think,
and
Jeremy?
yes. No and yes. That's it. Definitely doesn't bother me because this is what I love to do. Anybody who gets a spark or an inclination to make film and goes for it, I say, God bless you. Like, how can I help? Let's keep it coming along. Can they be successful? I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. But to have like I think what the question's pointing at is, maybe like a potential mindset of oversaturation or competition. Like, but I don't think that should be in the mindset of any filmmaker. I mean,
Right.
I think it's something Josh probably understands really well because it's like, you have a very specific thing, as do I. You have this style and this thing that comes out of you organically. It's like that all comes from just doing your own thing. But yeah, I think if you're Shard of the Beast, you're thinking of writing, write some more. Write your face off, please.
I would add to that and say, don't just write, but also get a camera, find some actors, and film some scenes or film the movie. I mean, I feel like I could have wrote this script and it was good, but once I found collaborators and we brought it to life and actually took the time to really not just write, but also watch some YouTube tutorials on editing, do some studying, and actually take control of your art and your pathway. And I think that I'm sure there could be a million amateur writers, but if they just write and never act on it to get the film made or reach out to people, then they don't really I would consider them an amateur writer forever. But if you keep writing and find a way to grow that, even if it's your network or whatever, I think you should continue to find other areas to evolve into.
Artie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm bothering him. Artie, Artie, do you have three questions for Anna?
Oh, I do. Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Should I be scared? This is the horror.
Yes, be very
section.
scared. Be
I'm
very
scared.
Hard one. Let me see. Okay. You kind of touched on this actually before.
Okay.
So you're from like a dancing background, cheerleading background.
Yeah.
So with being a dancer, is there anything that you've learned or that you use, like the techniques that you cross over and it helps you with acting? I feel like you almost touched on that when you talked about preparing before. But has
Yes.
that you learned training in dancing helped you as an actor?
Yes, that's a great question. I actually did more cheerleading than I did dance.
Mm.
But even as a cheerleader, I was more of the like of a cheer dancer than I was like the tumbler and the stunter. Um, and I would say probably the biggest thing that I learned from my experience in cheerleading and dancing was teamwork.
Mm.
That was probably the biggest thing that I learned that I try to put into every aspect of my life, especially art and collaborating and probably to a fault, maybe to the point where I might maybe not maybe up until recently where um, I would allow for too much of other people's ideas
Okay.
to um, have space, but none of my own. And seeing myself as a valid member of the team has been a hard lesson to learn, and I feel like I'm I've I'm finally learning that. But it's for me, it's all a team effort.
Okay.
You know,
That sounds
you're an
good.
artist.
Let's go to
Yeah.
the second question. We're
Oh.
running out of time.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I'll keep them shorter.
Okay. I have read that you have a special ability that you can cross your eyes one at a time.
Yes. You
Can,
want to see?
can we
Oh,
see that?
shit.
And how did you
Okay.
figure out that you could do this?
Okay. So you start by crossing both your eyes like this,
Holy shit.
and then you just keep one eye crossed, and then you look straight ahead with the other.
Oh man. Why isn't that in the movie?
Yeah,
I don't know,
didn't
but I could do
that
it with the
was,
other eye too.
in the
Oh,
car.
Oh shit. Oh, wow. Many talents. Third question.
That's intense.
That was fucked up.
Okay, third question is what is your favorite cold snack on a almost 100-degree day in New York City like today?
Yes. Very important.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
All right.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent choice.
Okay, Jeremy Johnson, I got 3 quick questions for you. Don't
Okay.
write a book. Just answer the question.
All right. Wow.
All right.
It's a lot of
He'll never
pressure.
talk to me again. Jeremy, who was your favorite horror director and why?
Well, right now, currently Ari Aster. I like the change in the genre, and I think he's making waves. And then I'll also say uh, Kubrick, because The Shining is very influential to me.
Who?
Fucking A.
Stanley Kubrick.
Oh,
Not that
Stanley
I would
Kubrick.
call him a horror director. He was just a director, but The Shining
Yeah.
for me was game changer.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. How do you know when the film is done?
When I don't, is it ever done? Yeah, I mean, I guess when it has to be done. That's it.
Okay, this is the most important question. What is your favorite tea?
Tai Guan Yin from the high mountains of Taipei. It's a hand rolled tea, and it has very smoky oceanic flavor.
Ah, excellent.
It means Iron Goddess of Mercy.
All right.
Yeah, throw that in the chat. I would like to get some of that.
All right, Joshua. Yeah, if you can write that down there. If you can spell it. Joshua. What got you all stoked about the horror genre growing up?
Just how twisted it was. I feel like I loved seeing that shit. I feel like in my daily life in rural New York was very mundane, and horror movies really just took me to a place where I could just be scared and terrified and always have questions, see bloody people, always had boobies. I think that then evolved into just the whole psychological, cerebral thriller aspect that I really love in my horror. But
Okay, he loves boobies in his horror. Number 2. What are the top
takeaway.
3? What are the top 3 horror films of all time?
Personally, I do love The Shining. I'd put, I don't know, top 3. Just for quickness, we'll do The Shining, Sion Sono's Strange Circus, a Serbian film which is banned in most countries, and I would say the French Martyrs film was absolutely fucking scary as can be.
All right. So
I think that was actually, that may have been 4.
Okay, well that's good enough. Now, what's your favorite diner food?
Buffalo chicken tenders followed by 2 eggs on white toast with sausage and home fries extra crispy with a Coke and a coffee.
That's beautiful. Well, he knows
know
his
you're-
friggin' diner food. Artie, how about you? You want to answer some questions? Artie,
Sure.
Artie, Day Trip Massacre coming out soon. All right. Stephen King said, horror and comedy are 2 sides of the same coin. Do you think there are similarities?
I do, and I literally I'm gonna have to change one of the questions for you because it's almost the same thing.
See?
I do because I think they both elicit a response where a lot of other things don't. You can watch a movie and jump out of your chair, or walk home and be scared, or you laugh out loud in your chair, walk home and laugh. They're the
Actually,
2 genres that I really feel like bring something out in the audience.
Actually, Jeremy asked me that question in Pennsylvania during the question and answer section of the film festival. Artie, do you think comedy in horror might take away from the fear factor?
No, I think if you're doing a straight horror, it's before Jeremy I think said it perfectly, like it can be used as something to stop detention, and it's also in real life that's how people do that. Someone says an awkward joke, so I think it can be used like that, like more in a real life manner. I don't think it takes away when it's done like that.
All right. Thanks, Artie. You're still a young man, but you might know this. You might not. We'll see. Bela Lugosi or Boris Karloff?
Bela Lugosi.
All right. Beautiful.
I have 3 questions for you, pal.
I hope they're easy,
Yeah.
like Anna's questions.
Okay. Do you prefer being on stage by yourself doing stand-up, or with an ensemble?
Ensemble. It gets lonesome up there. All right, next.
Next question. We're gonna have to come up with a new one because it's the one that you just asked me. Do you prefer working, now that you've done a couple of horror films, do you have a preference between doing comedy and horror?
Oh, wow.
If you had to choose.
That's really tough. Horror takes a lot of energy, emotional energy, a lot more than comedy. Man, I can't really, I can't split the baby in half on this one. Yeah.
I got you. All right. And what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Well, All right, so I don't think we were supposed to do that, and I'll get a personal talking to for that. But how about just quickly, what do you got coming out? What do you want to plug? Jeremy.
Well, I'm producing a TV show called Eat, Play, Stay that'll be coming out. I don't know when. And yeah. So that's kind of what's kept me off of the script at the moment.
Is it horror? Is it horror?
No, it's a travel show. I have nothing else to plug right now. I'm in the the phase of conceiving the idea and the script and getting the feature going. So that's it. I'll plug Year of the Dog because the link was there, so people.
What's
check
that
out
on Vimeo? The link is Vimeo.
I shared it on the chat, and
Okay.
anybody who wants to get a sense, yeah, please give it a watch.
All right, what about you, Joshua? What do you got coming up?
Short horror surreal film called Even Monsters Sleep. And I'll plug Andrew, Michael Kelly, and Anna Mayo as starting and considerable story credits on the film as well. So hopefully we can come back closer to release date and talk more about it.
Okay, thank you. Anna, that leads right to you. What do you got?
Yes, Even Monster Sleep, definitely. Got two things coming up really soon. Out of Reach is a short film that is going to be releasing in August. We just published our social media page, outofreach.film, on Instagram, and you can get more information about the premiere there. And I'm also singing and co-wrote the title track on some friend of mine's EP called Flights. The artists' name are Dice and Prophet NYC. Their EP Flights is releasing this Friday.
Wow, that's sick. All right. Artie, what about you? You got some shit coming.
The Super Crazy Fun Time show will be.
Is it coming back?
Coming back off Broadway. In
Yeah.
September.
That is one funny friggin' show, I'll tell you. I'm not just saying that, but I really had a good time. Because I've gone to two of them, and I don't have to. Well, I don't have to do anything I don't want to anyway, but because I'm kind of an adult. But that is one really funny show. It's a takeoff on variety shows of like what, the 70s, 80s or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Any last plugs? Look at Jeremy. He just looked at me like a monkey. That was so cute. All right. Thank you for coming, Jeremy. So damn good
Thank
to
you
see
for
you.
having me. Yeah, likewise, and great to meet you guys. And Josh,
Yeah.
good to see you again.
Yeah,
man.
great to see you, my man.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Joshua.
Enjoy
Artie, as always.
those
Thank you.
Newports off camera.
And
Dirty
you got
dog.
Anna. And
Yes.
Anna, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you and Artie both. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Don't forget to check out Mojo Rising, the producers, and they have other shows, the new name in podcasting situations. So you got podcasts, you got specialty shows like these on entertainment. There may be one on cooking and meditation. I don't know. But check that out, Mojo Rising. You could check it out on YouTube. You could check out Aardvark interviews on YouTube. All the shows are up there. This is the live stream, though. This is live. So we're going to edit out the part where I went like this and stuff. So, all right. But thank you for coming. And I'll talk to you next week.